Alabama prison officer, and Casey White, a dangerous inmate with a history of violence, is one of the most shocking and tragic cases of modern times. Vicky White was a respected figure in Florence, Alabama. Born and raised in the small town, she spent over 16 years working at the Lauderdale County Detention Center, where she rose through the ranks to become the Assistant Director of Corrections. Known for her reliability and professionalism, she was regarded as the backbone of the facility. Her colleagues often described her as kind-hearted and hardworking. Vicky rarely took time off, and her dedication to her job was unquestioned. Yet, beneath this veneer of professionalism, she harbored a secret that would later shock her community to its core. In the months leading up to the fateful prison break, Vicky made several decisions that, in hindsight, appeared unusual. She sold her home for far less than its market value, withdrew substantial sums from her bank accounts, and began discussing early retirement. At the time, these actions raised no red flags, as Vicky was known to be methodical in planning her future. Casey White was a stark contrast to Vicky. Standing nearly 7 feet tall and weighing over 300 pounds, his physical presence alone was intimidating. His criminal history was extensive, with charges ranging from burglary and robbery to attempted murder. In 2015, Casey's crime spree spanned multiple states, culminating in a violent standoff with police. He was later convicted and sentenced to 75 years in prison. While incarcerated, Casey was also charged with the 2015 murder of Connie Ridgway, a case that added to his infamy. Despite his notoriety, Casey was known for his manipulative and charismatic nature. In prison, he formed relationships with inmates and staff alike, exploiting vulnerabilities to achieve his goals. The relationship between Vicky and Casey began in 2020 when Casey was transferred to the Lauderdale County Detention Center to await trial for Ridgway's murder. Over time, their interactions grew more frequent and personal. For Casey, the relationship was likely part of a calculated plan. He used his charm to gain Vicky's trust, exploiting her emotional vulnerabilities. For Vicky, the relationship may have filled a void in her personal life, offering excitement and a sense of purpose. Their bond was largely invisible to others at the detention center. Vicky, known for her professionalism, continued to perform her duties without raising suspicion. However, investigators later discovered that the two had been in communication for nearly 2 years, exchanging messages and phone calls. Vicky White's escape plan was nothing short of meticulous, revealing the depth of her commitment to helping Casey White flee from custody. Vicky, in her role as Assistant Director of Corrections, had an intimate understanding of how the prison system worked and how to exploit it. She was well aware of the vulnerabilities in the system and the trust placed in her. In the months leading up to the escape, she made calculated decisions that seemed harmless at the time but were in fact part of a larger, dangerous plot. She began by selling her home for a fraction of its value, receiving a payment that was far below what it should have been. While she gave various excuses to her family and friends for this hasty decision, including her plans for retirement, it was all part of her escape strategy. Vicky also withdrew large sums of money from her savings, knowing she would need cash to finance the getaway. The purchase of the getaway car, a rust-colored Ford Edge, was another deliberate move. Vicky chose a vehicle that would be easily recognizable in an emergency, but also simple enough to blend in. She even took the precaution of modifying the car's appearance to reduce suspicion. Knowing she would be transporting an inmate as a part of her plan, Vicky had to ensure the car could withstand a potentially high-speed chase or any other obstacles. On the fateful day of the escape, Vicky's actions were carefully timed. On April 29, 2022, she told her colleagues at the Lauderdale County Detention Center that she was taking Casey White for a mental health evaluation at the courthouse. This was the perfect ruse, as Vicky was known for her routine trips and seemingly innocent duties. But once she and Casey were outside the prison walls, she sprang into action, driving directly to the parking lot where the Ford Edge waited. The precision of this operation was chilling. Vicky had already arranged for the patrol car to be abandoned, and there was no sign of a struggle or any indication that something had gone wrong. The two swiftly entered the Ford Edge, with Casey White apparently calm and prepared, as though he had been briefed on every detail of the plan. It was clear that Vicky had been planning this escape for months, perhaps even years, including her closest colleagues.
Did you get the sense they were actually doing this together? He was not forcing her?
Right, no, he was not forcing her. It was a mutual relation.
Things only get more intense and baffling from this point onward. Just when it seemed like progress was being made, law enforcement realized they were essentially back to square one. Determined to retrace their steps, officers returned to the shopping mall where Vicky White's abandoned patrol car had been discovered. They decided to comb through surveillance footage from the days leading up to the escape in hopes of uncovering new leads. What they found was startling. Footage showed Vicky parking a car in a nearby lot just days before the breakout. But it wasn't her usual vehicle. It was a 2007 Ford Edge she had purchased only a few days earlier. Police quickly deduced that this had to be the couple's intended getaway vehicle. However, when officers rushed back to the parking lot to inspect the Ford Edge, they made an unsettling discovery. The car was still there. It became clear that Vicky had left a decoy to mislead investigators, effectively derailing their trail and granting her and Casey a crucial 5-day head start. Realizing the fugitives must have switched vehicles after abandoning the Ford Edge, police widened their search. It wasn't long before they received a breakthrough. A nearby homeowner reported that he had sold his Ford F-150 pickup truck to a man fitting Casey White's description. He was 10 years younger than Casey, but his face was well known to the young woman who disappeared from camp, 6'9", tall, and an unmistakable match to the photos shown to him. The timing of the sale aligned perfectly with the day Vicky and Casey disappeared. Armed with this information, police launched a search for the F-150, hoping to bring the manhunt to a swift end. A significant lead came on the 6th day when the owner of a car wash in Indiana noticed something unusual. A Ford F-150 had been left parked in one of his cleaning bays for an extended period. The situation didn't sit right with him. The truck was in excellent condition, far too valuable to have been abandoned without reason. Suspicious, the car wash owner reviewed his surveillance footage. What he uncovered was a game changer. The footage showed Casey White stepping out of the truck, behaving in an odd and hurried manner. Moments later, another vehicle appeared, driven by none other than Vicky. Casey entered the new car, leaving the F-150 behind, and the two drove off together. Convinced they were up to no good, the car wash owner promptly contacted 911.
There's a truck been sitting in my bay since yesterday at 3 o'clock. I looked at my cameras and the guy's kind of suspicious. It's a Ford F-150 four-door truck. It's blue in color. It's got Tennessee license plates on it. And I've got him on camera.
The following day, law enforcement arrived at the car wash to investigate the abandoned truck.
Is it returns to a Dodge?
Yeah.
With no immediate leads to follow, the cops quickly departed the car wash, and the abandoned pickup truck was towed away. By the time the information reached the investigators, it was already day 10 of the manhunt. They were expected to arrive at the car wash by 9 a.m., but their failure to show up on time left the car wash owner increasingly frustrated. Feeling ignored and desperate to see action taken, the owner decided to take matters into his own hands. He reached out to the local press, determined to bring attention to the situation and ensure the investigation continued without further delays.
So then, 9:30, they're not here. So I said, I get on the phone to Fox News. I said, y'all want a story? Yeah, we like a story. I said, I got one. But I got a convict over at my car wash. I got him on camera. He said, you talking about the one in Kentucky? I said, no, I'm talking about the one in Alabama with the girl. He said, okay, we'll be right there. They showed up. They got there 10 minutes before the marshal.
On May 9, 2022, the manhunt that had captivated the country for over a week came to a dramatic conclusion. Law enforcement received a tip that led them to a motel in Evansville, Indiana, where Vicky and Casey were holed up. After confirming the fugitives' location, the authorities moved in, determined to apprehend them without incident. As the officers approached, they initiated a high-speed chase when Casey and Vicky attempted to flee in the Ford Edge. The car sped down the highway, weaving through traffic as authorities pursued. It was clear that Vicky and Casey had little regard for the consequences of being caught.
Gone. Airbags are going on. Let's get out. Gone.
The chase eventually ended when the car crashed into a ditch. The pursuit came to an abrupt halt, but the tension was far from over. Authorities were acutely aware that the pair was armed and potentially dangerous.
Crash out. Any crash out?
Where's he hit? Please, check him out. This is my wife, guys. Check him out. Please, my wife. She's that's a best woman in the world right there. Please, that's the best woman in the world. Vicky, I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry, baby. Anybody in this world don't deserve it. She don't. When she's herself, it hit me. But y'all ain't gonna believe me. I'm gonna say I killed her. Just like y'all say I killed everybody else.
Think David should go to him? No, she's good. She's still got it in her hand. Yes, she's got a gun in her hand. There's medic right here, medic. Get back! It's still in her hand? Yes, it's in her hand. Still breathing.
I gotta break this center up here.
Can you go in?
Well, I think we can reach in and get the gun. That'd probably be easier to windshield.
See, it'll open. Good idea. We got cover?
Yeah.
It's opening. It's opening. You got me? Yeah. I'm gonna go for the gun first. All right, pull me out. All right, I got it.
It's highly probable that Vicky would have been abandoned or even killed by Casey not long after this point. Known for his violent tendencies, Casey was ultimately found guilty of first-degree prison escape and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole until he reaches the age of 98. This dangerous individual is now locked away, ensuring that he will likely remain behind bars for the rest of his life, bringing an end to his reign of terror. Thank you for diving into this gripping case with us. If you enjoyed unraveling the mystery, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on more chilling stories of crime and justice. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your theories. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.